Hello, everybody. You can call me Hunch. Everything I say is not financial advice. I'm just talking about interesting topics. We got a lot going on, right? We got Bitcoin DeFi popping off. We got the TAP protocol popping off. We got all sorts of updates. But I'm going to go through TAP first, but then I'm going to give you what I think happens this cycle, where Bitcoin tops out, where all coins top out, right? Where everything tops out, the indicator that I'm using. And then I'm going to be talking about Diko, some altcoins at the end, obviously the Merlin Chain just for a tad, but we got a lot going on. So let's get started with TAP real quick. TAP is absolutely popping off. TAP is a protocol under TRAC. If you don't know what it is, it's a meta protocol. TAP Sora, the first meme coin. I don't know if it's becoming like an actual AI coin or it's going to get listed on an exchange, but I think it's just a meme right now, right? It's based off of the Sora Ventures, who invested in Benny the Dev, right? And it's going absolutely parabolic, right? It's basically the first real meme under TAP, right? It reminds me a lot of ORNJ. I don't know if it's going to pull an ORNJ, but I like it. So if you look at the chart, it's just gone like absolutely bonkers overnight. It went from like 3 cents when I saw it, and now it's at now it's at 14 cents. So I'm not saying it's going to continue to go. I'm just saying I would pay attention. But I tweeted today, TAP Sora up, TAP DMT NAT down, right? And why do I keep saying NAT down? It's not that I don't like NAT, right? Non-arbitrary token. This is based off digital matter theory and the block runner guys. I do like it. I don't know if I like it for coins. This is inflationary, but I did tweet that I do like it for ordinals types things, right? You can create unique collections based on data, right? And you can see that with this guy's. This is the podcaster from Block Runner. These are called NAT cats. Really, really cool art. I like them. I appreciate them. They're based off this digital matter theory. I think it's good. And he tweeted this today. If you believe in building in Bitcoin, you should be built using DMT framework. Everything else on ordinals is a rehash of ETH, right? Utilizing block data for digital creation is native to Bitcoin and only enhances the value of the chain, right? So, sorry, I'm talking quick. I got to talk low. Been so busy. I agree with this, but for ordinals right now, it might work for tokens. I'm not seeing it yet, so I'm more bullish on other things. So not bearish on that, just I'd rather be in other things. Now, where do I think the market's going this cycle? So to preface this or tell you what kind of happened, I couldn't find a tweet, but a while ago people said, or tweeting, where do you think Bitcoin tops out? I said, you know, the funniest outcome is the most likely. So I said 420,000, right? You know, smoke up, basically, you know, 420. I don't think that's going to happen, right? It's possible that it happens, right? And we have like a super cycle in Bitcoin, but I don't think it happens. I think we go to 10 trillion, right? Now, that doesn't mean Bitcoin is at 420,000. That would be a 42% market dominance. I don't think it's going to be that, right? So 10 trillion. This Chris Berninsky, he's been tweeting this since last year, but he also says, you know, the market likes round numbers. They like even numbers. They like funny outcomes. That's what I tweeted under the 420,000. Now, I do think we go to 10 trillion. It's a nice round number, right? And the market loves that. Now, it reminded me of a lot when I said the 420 of Elon Musk, where he said the most entertaining outcome, as if we're in a movie, is the most likely. Now, he referenced this quote a lot when he was talking about Dogecoin, right? Becoming like a currency. So on and so forth. I don't think Dogecoin is going to become the currency, although it may become some type of currency, right? They're using it in Dogenals and so on and so forth. But it just reminds me of Dogecoin and everything going on. And that reminds me of Welsh, right? Now, this was published today, right? And this guy, Crypto Hunter, he has a lot of followers. He basically tweeted that if crypto goes to 10 trillion, Welsh is at 10 billion is 0.16%. And he did a bunch of math, moon math, right? Pretty interesting that he tweeted that, right? So 10 billion is going to 10 trillion. People have been saying that, right? We're getting updates more and more that Welsh is getting more recognition. They can now be bridged to become a BRC20 via the X link, right? Now, this is a market dominance for ETH. Right, and I have one for Bitcoin. Let's start with Bitcoin. Now, if you look here, let's move this at this chart. Okay, and it's hard to zoom in. It's at like 53%. Okay, but when it bottoms out, the number that you see down there is 40%. Okay, 40%. This is Bitcoin. It's happened a lot. It seems that the market likes 40% for Bitcoin. Now, this is ETH. ETH generally stays between like 18, 22, 20. 18 to 20. And I'll move my camera. You can't, I don't know if you can see it, but over in this corner, right there, it says 18. Okay. So what we got here is a 20% for ETH market dominance in general. Okay. And we got a 40% for Bitcoin. So 40 for Bitcoin, right? 20 for ETH. What does that remind you of? 420. I think that's the most likely outcome. Now, I say you think that's funny. I'm not joking. I think Bitcoin goes down to 40%, which would be 4 trillion. ETH goes to 2 trillion, right? 4 trillion, 2 trillion, right? 4 trillion for Bitcoin, 2 trillion for ETH, and then that would leave 4 trillion left for alts. I think that's the most likely outcome. 420, right? 4 trillion for alts. Now, that's based off that $10 trillion number, right? And where these charts have been laying. I think that's the most likely outcome that nobody is seeing and paying attention to. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not going to use things like the pi cycle top indicator, right? And there's a few others that I can't remember on Twitter. Will, he's an analyst, right? There's a few more indicators that I'm going to use for topping out. Pi cycle indicator is one of them that seems to always work out well, right? Right here it hit, right here it hit, right over here it hit, right? So it seems like when we top out, we hit that. So I'm not just saying based off how I feel 420, but it's awfully funny that people always say like the most funniest outcome is the most likely, right? We got Welsh pumping. That was said about Doge. Chris Berninsky has been saying 10 trillion. And then under that, I said 420K. And it just dawned on me, right? Dominance. Like, where are these dominances typically, right? And I'm sure if I zoom out, you know, at the peaks or and troughs, right? I don't know if it's 420, but I think this is the way we need to be thinking about it. A few indicators, 10 trillion, right? Which has been floating around. Multiple people are saying it, right? That guy said it in the paper. Where is it? Right here in the Crypto Hunter. Chris Berninsky said it here. He said it multiple times about 10 trillion. There's something about round numbers. There's something about funny, right? So that's what I'm kind of using. Now you're going to say, oh, that's stupid, bro. Okay, I'm going to be using indicators too, but nobody knows where this thing is going to top out. People say, some podcasters say some 700K. Some people say, you know, 120K, right? There's also a lot of emotion. You got to feel when you're getting overinvested, right? You got to look at macro. I get all that. But to me, this seems like a good indicator. If macro is solid, right? The Fed is not going to cut rates and cause chaos. We're not in a massive depression, so on and so forth, right? There's black swans. Okay, so now that we got through that, okay, so let's go to Arkadiko. Now, it's important airdrops are coming. Institutions are here. They're investing in stacking down, which is also by the creator of Arkadiko. Liquid Stacks is going to go in the Arkadiko vaults to keep the peg on Arkadiko. I think it's a unique way to do that, right? So important that you can get the stacking down BitFlow airdrops. I think those are probably going to be the biggest airdrops in my life. Well, not biggest, right? But the most important, right? Stacking down to me is probably the most important airdrop I want to go for. I just have a lot of faith in it, okay? Now, there's also more airdrops coming for Arkadiko, so just pay attention. I'm not saying buy Arkadiko, do your own research, but it seems like we're in a bullish momentum. And if you haven't looked at the chart for Arkadiko, it's explosive. So I'm not going to do that for you, okay? Now, this other Stacks crypto that I'm going to talk about, I've been talking about the Eurodollar with Arkadiko and Sov, right? One of the creators of Alex has been talking about an L1, L2 permissionless stablecoin, right? That's Arkadiko, I think, or Sovereign, right? Now, this plays into this next thing I tweeted about last night. Now, I tweeted this last night. Vibes on Stack looks like it's about to blow. So this was, what, 10:47 p.m. Okay, so here's the story. 11 hours, I said, 11 hours ago, I said, hi, Vibes, you cooking something? What is giving me the tangles for? Honestly, might just ape this for the vibes, right? But this is the important statement here. Somebody commented under here. I have a 10% big theory that the bull heats up. People all of a sudden want to get into the industry. That, along with being in Stacks token, right? If Stacks goes absolutely mental, right, they're going to be looking for how to get jobs, which will propel Vibes. So if you don't know what Vibes is, it's kind of like the LinkedIn of Stacks. Now, is that valuable? I don't know, but it's a real business model. So I think that's an interesting thing to keep a play on. Now, it's not part of my main tenet of a theoretical portfolio. Remember, I'm basically Bitcoin DeFi, and I dabble in for fun with other things, right? Now, it's absolutely exploding. This was like last night, right? I don't know. This chart looks pretty lit. When did I tweet this? This was today at 1:07. Okay, 1:07 p.m. Okay, and then I drew this line. I said, if Vibe breaks above my perfectly drawn yellow line, I'll become a Merlin Chain magazine and wear a tutu with a hoo-hoo's cat skirt on at Disney World and live stream it. Now, look at this line right here. Okay, it's going up. It's got to break that line. Okay, this is at 2:37, so an hour later. Okay, now if you go on Stacks Tools, Vibes is now up 108%. Okay, so I clicked it. It's now at 0.0087. Okay, so we're going even higher, and we've got to break pretty much this line to get above it, and I think we go even higher. Okay, now you got to research the team, right? I'm not saying buy this. I just think it's an interesting concept. Good business, right? If they can get this to happen, right? They find Web3 jobs, right? Specifically in the Stacks ecosystem, but if they can expand, right? But here's what I realized about this. If Arkadiko, right, can team up with a business like this, right, that gets that stable coin adoption that I'm talking about going, right? We need to see a connection, right, like this. And I tweeted about this. We need to get an economy going around these euro dollar stable coins that I talk about all the time, right? So I think this is a very interesting play. I don't think it's a main tenet of a portfolio, but I definitely think it's very interesting. And I think you should be paying attention to this chart. $3 million market cap. I started tweeting about this under 2 million, right? At least you could have made a 50% gain if you're on my Twitter, call me Hunch, if you're into these things. I'm not saying buy them, but holy smokes, I think there's an opportunity here if they can execute. Okay, now let's just talk in the Merlin Chain. These guys are pumped. The Merlin Chain, Merl, hoo-hoo, voya, right? This guy today said chains with true native support if you were building a Bitcoin L2, right? And he's tweeting about 2 billion. Under this, I tweeted, this is the funny part, right? They're trying to pump up Merlin all the time. I said, bro, every coin on Merlin Chain is getting absolutely blown out worse than the Taco Bell toilet. Okay, so if you go to tech, how do I know that, right? If you go to Dex Tools, I've been following these guys, right? All of these basically, you know, except for these, you know, maybe 79K. I mean, these are all like super low caps. So these numbers are distorted, 8.3K, 471%. But basically, all of the top coins have been getting blown out, except for hoo-hoo, because you're going to get an airdrop, right? This, where is it? Elixir, this was over I think up to 1.5 million. It's at 454K, right? All these things are not doing well. They're all under a million, right? This is an Ethereum chain, absolutely blown out right now. Stacks is killing it, right? If you go to Stacks, you go back, right? You got all green, right? Vibes, Mega, Gus. Gus is absolutely crazy, right? Pumping. Go watch my video on why I think all the meme coins under Stacks basically are going to pump, right? I give you reasoning behind that. So pay attention to the Stacks ecosystem. That's why I mentioned the Merlin Chain. I'm not trying to, you know, sway you away, right? I'm just trying to state a fact, baby. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about, shout out to Connor on Chain, is he's been talking about this Astrox, sort of like an AI play, data aggregator. Interesting. I like it. Super low market cap, right? Fully diluted. That can't be right. 43K? No way. Anyway, super low market cap. I thought it was 400,000. You know, I don't think that's right. But go check them out. Go check out their Twitter, right? Go check out their website. I think they do have things going on, right? They're aggregate data, avoid FOMO. So I'm going to be looking at this. Definitely not part of a theoretical portfolio as a main tenant, but I'm looking for small AI plays just to like play around with, you know, maybe they go 50 or 100x and you get lucky. So I'm not against all those things. So just wanted to bring this up. I like this one. Another one that I like a lot that I haven't brought up is Palm AI. I think this thing keeps pumping, and it's simply because in their white paper or the website, right? I mean, look at this chart. It's absolutely bonkers. It's still low valuation, 29 million. If you go to, let's see, maybe we can go to their Twitter. It'll pop up. It says like Google in it, right? And I think people are going to, here we go. Multi-platform Palm AI chatbot uses Google. So if I dabble in these things, it's no other reason than I think it's going to pump, right? I have no reason to believe that these AI coins are going to change the world at this point, right? Maybe a bit Tensor does, I don't know. But interesting things to dabble in. Anyway, I got a hunch, and my hunch is Bitcoin goes to 150K, right? Or 3 trillion. Or no, sorry, more than that. What would be the 4 trillion? 4 trillion. Yeah, we'll go to 4 trillion, right? ETH goes to 2 trillion. That's 420. And then the rest, right? 4 trillion in altcoins. I could be wrong. I think that's what's going to happen. I got a hunch, and my hunch is 420. Love you.